Okay, so I'd like to start by saying that if you watch the following video, please do not feel like you need to play it at normal speed. It's a little long. I think you'll enjoy it. Set your YouTube playback settings at 1.5, 1.75, 2x, and just enjoy the view. If you want to listen to me talk, I try to fill the air so it's not dead air, but I hope you enjoy it. It's the first of my travel vlogs, driving vlogs here in Alaska. I'd like to show you a little bit about what my state looks like, and I hope you enjoy it. This is Wolflight saying, please sit back, relax, and enjoy. Thank you. Let's start the car. I do not overly bundle up. I'm already warm. Alright, let's use some gas. And then do a little road trip. Not sure why it got dark. Oh, so the screen turns off. Okay, I didn't know that. We have about 1 foot of snow on the ground. As you can see, we don't salt our roads here. At some point, they'll come through here and put some gravel down. Doing 21 miles an hour, now 18. My neighbor's like, slow down, slow down. The speed limit is 25. I'm like, I'm not speeding. Just because you hear my WRX exhaust does not mean I'm speeding. So I gotta stop and get some gas. We'll make a road trip down the turn again. Maybe down to Girdwood, maybe past Girdwood. Maybe I'll go see if the otters are out. Take some pictures of the otters. I've got enough gas to do it. I got 110 miles on the tank, but this is Alaska, and I don't like letting my gas tank get too low. So I'm gonna stop and get gas first. Be a responsible driver here. This will be the first of my motovlogging series. Obviously I can't take the bike out. The intent is when the weather turns nice to make a series of videos driving around the state on the motorcycle. I plan on getting a couple other motorcycles to go with my Vulcan. Thought I'd use some drives like this to give some perspective on what it's like while I'm I'm not driving or riding the Vulcan right now. Show what our roads are like. There are a lot of people that are afraid of this. It's not. I mean, you'll see when I pull up here to the light. This isn't ice. This is snow, and it's packed snow. And from when the plows up came through, there's ridges in it. But there's a plow up there ahead of me. So when you go to stop at a light, it's like those things on the highway that go. It's kind of like that. It's not hard to stop at all. The only reason you wouldn't be able to stop was if you weren't paying attention. I was going to go straight, but I don't know if I want to follow the plow. Yeah, we'll go the other way. Go down past the zoo. Snow on the ground. We'll end up with more before the winter's over. Last year we ended up with almost 3 feet up here on the hillside. So passing the zoo. The zoo's on my right hand side now. But I said, point out too. Alaska is beautiful all year long. I mean, okay, in April, when the thaw really happens, a lot of this, because of the gravel and the dirt, will end up being kind of brown and ugly, slushy mess on the side of the road. That's when it's really the worst, during the breakup. And the breakup really refers to not our snow on the side of the road, but when the rivers start breaking up and the water starts flowing freely, and when the Cook Inlet is ice free, and that's the breakup. It just also happens to be because of the snow or the ice melting in those bodies of water, that obviously the snow and ice on the roads here will also be melted and gone. So, yeah, breakup can be kind of ugly. So basically for like 1 month, really, 1 month, it's kind of ugly. So the trees here went from a bright green, and some of them are still pretty green under the snow. The evergreens, the spruces and stuff, they don't want to lose their green, they just get covered up in snow. The birches and stuff, they lost their leaves, the dogwoods have lost their leaves, the cottonwoods have lost their leaves. But unlike back in Indiana, where this time of the year, the fields are all empty, the trees are all leafless, it's just a nasty, ugly brown. And then you get snow and ice all over everything. And I spent 21 years in Indiana, and it's just ugly in the wintertime. Ugly. Because unfortunately, when you get snow on the ground or ice on the ground, they salt it, and what you end up with is a slushy mess everywhere. So you can see there's like some, like where they graveled the road, there's some brown in the snow on the side of the road. From where they've laid down some gravel and stuff, and there's oil for people's cars and exhaust and all that mixed with the snow. That's kind of ugly. That makes that snow kind of ugly. But the whole rest of it, you know, the snow on the trees, it's like a Christmas postcard. I remember seeing when I was a kid the postcards with like all the pine trees and fir trees with snow on them. That's for the next 3 months, 4 months. That's what we'll have. It will be this winter wonderland until about February. It'll be really cold, not cold, like maybe 10 degrees, 12 degrees. I'll still be wearing the same thing I'm wearing now, leather jacket and a shirt underneath it. I don't bundle up. It really is a dry cold. This isn't wet snow. It's not like It's actually really good snow. It's easy to shovel. It's easy to snow blow. It packs really well when you're driving on it, so it makes for a really good driving surface. You end up with the parking lots. Parking lots are kind of nasty because they try and like salt, or not salt them, but they put down snow melt, some liquid stuff, and they gravel them and all that. And parking lots can end up being kind of yucky for the most part. I'm just gonna stop here and get gas. It'll take me about 5 minutes to put gas in the car, maybe, and then we'll be out on the highway. And sorry, pump out of order. Well, crap. All right, give me a minute to get some gas. Gas in the car. Reset my trip counter. Reset my turbo boost sensor. What do you got here? Peak boost 21 pounds. Now it's resetting. Confirm peak reset, yes. All right. Boost right now, minus 10 pounds. We're almost full. All right. $2.79 a gallon, $2.59 a gallon with my discount. So one of the good things about driving WRX is the acceleration. People always get mad and give me crap. Like Louise will say, "Quit speeding." I'm like, I'm barely touching the gas pedal, literally. I'm not flooring it. I'm not hitting the RPMs. Like, I mean, that's not to say I haven't hit the rev limiter before, but by and large, when I'm driving, I don't hit the rev limiter. Just want to make sure he's turning left into here real quick. Okay, there's somebody turning right. So that's like 16% throttle right there. 18. 22% throttle, 18. And I'm already catching up to traffic. 14% throttle. I mean, I pulled out, no problems whatsoever. If I actually hit like 25% throttle, I can leave a stoplight and like everybody behind me. And like this isn't like a super performance car. This is the WRX Premium. Just the WRX Premium. I always wanted a WRX. It's like 2005, since Gran Turismo. Since the first Gran Turismo game. That's the game that made me want a WRX. And I bought this car. This is 2020. I bought it in March of 2018. And I only have 9,510 miles on it. So, number one, I haven't done a lot of driving. COVID, of course, has really kind of killed the driving to begin with. And so, I gotta turn the fan down. Way too hot in here. Way too hot. Turn it back down to like 66. Way too warm. See, I put premium gas in for $2.79, $2.59 with my discount. I want to point out I didn't like that holiday gas station right there, $2.44. I guess I could have got gas for cheaper, but thought I'd give the car some good gas to ride on. So we'll take a little trip down to Turnagain. Enjoy getting out of the house. Spending 2 weeks basically in bed. Oh man, that was painful. I gotta tell you, super painful. Jump on the Seward southbound here. We were just over here right at this on-ramp about an hour ago, maybe not even an hour ago. Took my husky, took a Molly in. She had a shampoo and a de-shedding treatment, had her nails done. Got to make it so I don't have fur everywhere. And then so her nails aren't click-clacking on the wooden floors, and so when she jumps on somebody, you know, the nails bother her. Louise really complains about the nails. Like, quit jumping on me. You need your nails done. So I can't give you guys a little more sky here instead of the hood of the car. There you go. See, at 18% throttle, I have no problem keeping up with this lady in front of me at all. Doing 45 miles an hour already. Give it a little more throttle here. 28%. Only hit 8 pounds of boost so far. That's the other thing. So the reason why I got the WRX Premium when I got it 2 years ago, because the STI is still running the old 2.5 liter boxer engine that they've been running for the longest time, or at least in 2018, they were still on that same engine. This car came out with a newer 2-liter engine, and when I read the reviews, so the STI, that engine, 2018, had to get up to around 4,000 RPM before it would really boost. This car boosts from the get-go. Like as soon as you touch the gas pedal, it's already boosting. It has a lot of low-end power. You don't have to get the RPMs up to get the boost. Right now we're at like 7% boost. Like I said, we peaked at 8.5, doing 67 miles an hour. Right now, like I said, anytime you're on the gas pedal, it's boosting. 11% throttle and 8% boost. So the boost helps with the gas mileage. This car actually gets pretty decent gas mileage, all things considered. Most turbo cars don't get very good gas mileage. Most four-wheel drive cars don't get very good gas mileage. And this is a turbo four-wheel drive, and I still get pretty good gas mileage. I can ease, like this trip, I will probably easily get in the 30s, since it's mostly highway driving. Well, depending upon how much stop and go I get up here on the sewer. But you see the mountains in the distance. They're not that snow covered, actually. Like I said, I have a foot of snow in my yard, foot of snow on the roof, but the mountains, you can still see plenty of trees and plenty of rocks. They're not that snow covered yet. We are supposed to get maybe another 3 to 6 inches of snow because I live on the hillside up here to my left. I live up over 1,000 feet, so right now I'm maybe 100 feet above sea level right now. The Cook Inlet's just off to my right, maybe a mile and a half, 2 miles away, maybe 100 feet above sea level, and I live up over 1,000 feet above sea level. And yeah, we're supposed to get like another 3 to 6 inches of snow. We'll see. We shall see. Oh, excuse me. But even a snow-covered drive, you know, oh, the roads are bad. No, the roads aren't bad at all. People are way too scared. You can see the tree-covered mountains across the way, right across the inlet right there. That's a turning an arm we're coming up on. We're gonna be really close to the water in just a second. We're approaching the water now. We're gonna be like within. At times we'll be within like maybe 10 yards from the water, sometimes further, but there's a couple times on, well, maybe a little more than 10 because the railroad tracks are there. Maybe 30 yards from the water, I'd say the closest will be. Yeah, we're gonna come right up here on the turning in, which is frozen right now. You'll be able to see it to some degree as we come right here. They're big. The water is not 100% frozen solid because of course the tide does go in and out. When the tide is out, you'll see big chunks of ice that get like left on the ground when the tide is out. But those mountains, that's the Kenai. So the Kenai Peninsula is literally right there. We're gonna swing around. I will. I think I'll drive all the way down to the entrance to the Kenai. Give you guys a perspective. We're not going to go all the way to Seward, 115 miles away. We're not going to go that far. Although I'm thinking about doing a winter. I haven't normally drove to Seward during the winter time. I've done it a lot of times in the summer. Not many times this summer, but a lot of times during the summertime. I've never done a winter drive to Seward. Basically, where I'm going to turn around at today is about as far as I normally go in the wintertime. Some people out playing in the snow. That's Potter's Marsh to my left. Bird habitat in the summertime. Lots of moose. This is far South Anchorage right here. You can't see the houses too good, I guess, but there's a lot of houses right there going up the side of that hill. Those houses, million, $2 million, $3 million homes, because of their views. None of those houses are small. Most of those houses are 4, 5, 6 bedroom homes. A couple up there could damn near be hotels. Moose crossing next 2 miles is pretty much a lie. I mean, yes, I've seen plenty of moose, mostly here by Potter's Marsh. When we get right up here by the way station, the moose don't really go much past the way station. There's not really anything there for them. Not for a little ways anyway. The hillside's too steep, too many rocks. They want sources of food. Get State Park. I've done this drive now since we moved up here probably close to 200 times, and this drive is so nice. Doesn't matter what time I do it, what time of the year, when I come down, every time is different. Every time is the scenery is beautiful no matter what time of the year it is. Like, it's one type of scenery when it's snowy, it's another when it's green, it's another when it's raining, when the wind is blowing. Each view is different, each trip. So the tide is out. There's a bunch of, like, there's one that's about the size of a Volkswagen. There's a bunch of size blocks of ice out there. They're about the size of a refrigerator or a small refrigerator. Right now we're about, if the water was, tide was in, we'd be about 30 yards from the water, maybe 25, 30 yards. The railroad tracks are right to my right, and then just on the other side of the tracks, it slopes down really hard and goes down to the water. Yeah, we're not very far from the water at all. Or we wouldn't if the tide is in. Right now we're about a mile away because the tide's way out. It's way out there. So these hillsides are all covered, be all covered in snow. In the spring, all that snow will melt, and there'll be little waterfalls everywhere as the snow melt comes down. So many waterfalls. Even if some of them are only like a foot wide, you're driving down there with your windows open and you can't miss hearing the sound of running water. So I thought I'd point out the Great Food Truck Race was up here in Alaska this year. We bought some food from a couple of the food trucks when they were here in Anchorage. It'll be interesting to see when they televise that. It just ended. It just finished up. They were up in Fairbanks for the finish. But yeah, they were here in Anchorage. They went to Seward. They went to Homer. They went to Talkeetna. They went to Fairbanks. I'm not sure if they went to Valdez or not. I don't know. I didn't follow the trucks that heavily. Louise did. But it'll be interesting so that you guys can see, if you watch the food truck race, the Great Food Truck Race on Food Network. The food truck race was up here. They didn't bring food trucks up from the lower 48. They contracted with some of the food trucks that are already here. They rented their trucks and put vinyl wraps on them for whoever the teams. And I'm sure that it was nice for the food trucks that are here, that are maybe in their off season, to have a regular income, somebody renting their truck from them. We're just doing 53 to 55 miles an hour. The roads aren't bad at all. No worse than they'd be after a light rain. I've got really good Blizzak snow tires on, so I don't worry too much anyway. The falling rocks next 7 miles, those signs are really important, because There have been a number of rock falls. Luckily, nobody's been seriously hurt, but in the past couple of years, they've had some very large rocks come down. I'm not a believer in man-made global warming. I do believe that we are in a warm cycle right now. I'm one of those people who like one volcanic eruption produces more CO2 than man has in all of history. And we have a number of volcanoes right here in Alaska, and they're erupting all the time. But one volcanic eruption produces more CO2 than all of mankind's industrial revolution, everything. We can't produce CO2 on their level. What we can do is we've cut down forests and made housing developments and parking lots, and we've contributed to global warming in that way more than anything. We've cut down on the oxygen production of some of nature, which is why I love living here in Alaska. It's always fresh air. Like, this air is like so fantastic to breathe because of all the trees, and it's so nice to breathe. It really is. No pollution. Just past Beluga Point. That's Beluga Point right there. But anyway, my point was that because of the warming, and it would happen anyway. I once had a video called The Power of Water where I took the kids to Washington in 2005, and I showed them how a waterfall carved out the side of a mountain. And so that's what all these little waterfalls, when this snow melts, it gets into those cracks in the rocks, and the water just constantly wears away at the rock. So then when it heats up in the summertime, it expands, and it contracts, and then in the wintertime it contracts. And what eventually happens is these big chunks of rock just break off. And so yeah, there's been some rock falls here, some of them pretty big. The state came through and tried clearing some more of the rock out, like some of the weaker areas. They went ahead and used dynamite and blasted some of the pieces off to try and do it before Mother Nature did it for itself. Let me clean some of the stuff off the windshield here. There we go, sorry about that. Get rid of some of the mud splatter from those cars kicking stuff up on my car. My car will be all brown instead of black. That's probably the worst part about driving in this time of the year, is the slushy stuff on the road gets kicked up on my car. When you have a black car, it shows up so bad. It goes from nice, beauty, shiny black to being bleh. A Tesla? It is a Tesla. Yes, we have Teslas in Alaska. We have everything in Alaska. There's Lamborghinis here, there's Ferraris here, there's Porsches here. People are like, I don't know if I drive a Lamborghini in Alaska. We got 12,000 miles of road. Maybe one of those numbers, 12,000, 16,000, something like that. And we have some fantastic stretches, which is what my motovlog is going to be about. We have some fantastic drives. I want to show how beautiful it is just to drive here in Alaska. And as part of my vlog, we'll go some places, we'll eat, we'll talk to people, but I want to show how even if all you do is come up and do a road trip in Alaska, it's so gorgeous here, no matter what time of the year it is. Now obviously when I start doing the motorcycle, we won't be dealing with all the snow and the ice, and we'll be seeing a lot more wildlife then, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's just, we don't have a lot of roads. There are some cities that have more roads than the entire state of Alaska does, but what we have is gorgeous drive. I mean, this is brown right now. The trees, these trees, because they don't have pine trees right here, you're not getting the snow on them. But there's the rocks, there's the ocean off to my right, like the tide's right there. I can't tell, I can't see water running enough to see whether it's on its way out or whether it's on its way in. It's not moving well enough for me to tell. I kind of want to say it's on its way out, based on how muddy it It is right above the water line. But in the summertime through here, the belugas will be swimming. When the tide's coming in, the belugas are swimming in. When the tide's going out, the belugas are swimming out. They're here chasing the hooligan run. The eagles are fishing for hooligan and salmon. So hooligan is a species of herring. I just feel this is gorgeous. It's always good looking through here, no matter what. You like, some people don't like the scenery. I happen to think everything around here is gorgeous. So there's obviously some mountain goats up on the hill above me. There's a couple mountain goats right there. Oh yeah. So the people you saw right there with the cameras and telescopes, there was 6 mountain goats right up, maybe 30 feet up, like above people's heads, right there, standing on the rocks. And again, that's Alaska. You know, you never know what you're going to see here. Mountain goats, eagles, salmon, moose, bear. I mean, I could have stopped and looked, but I was on the wrong side of the road really to stop. The pullout was on the other side. But yeah, this is Mother Nature at its finest. This is what you can't get in a lot of places anywhere else on the planet. Like I said, so many places in the lower 48, they've cut down forests. I mean, like I said, I took the kids to Washington in 2005. Used to live completely surrounded by forest. And that area where the house is, up in Bonnie Lake, instead of forest, it's all apartments and condominiums. It's the nastiest. I mean, okay, granted, they may be some nice looking homes, but they destroyed Mother Nature. And you want to talk about global warming or whatever, blame it on the oxygen and the CO2 processing of the trees that don't exist anymore. That's the problem. The problem isn't how much CO2 we produce. The problem is the trees can't produce. There's a waterfall right there, still melting on the side of the road. Yep, it's warm enough to melt. Little waterfall. We don't have enough trees processing the CO2. That's the problem. We don't have enough Mother Nature processing the CO2. It's not how much we produce. It's not. Your CO2 footprint. Your CO2 footprint isn't the fucking problem, people. It's the fact that Mother Nature can't process that CO2. That's the problem. I'm a firm believer that we've overpopulated the planet. And maybe, just maybe we could cut down on population a little bit and things would improve. But hey, they implement child limits in Japan and China, and the whole rest of the world goes, you can't do that, that's not right. They should be allowed to have 3 kids if they want instead of 1. Well, Japan doesn't have room for them, for one. They're an island. Where are the people going to go? There's billions of starving Chinamen. There's billions of starving people in India. We've overpopulated the planet. And we're destroying Mother Nature. And I'm not saying we need to be Nazis about it and go to the extremes that like PETA does and Greenpeace and all that. I'm just saying, maybe, just maybe, we don't need another 1,000,000 office buildings. We don't need another 1,000,000 homes. That's actually one of the best things that COVID has done, honestly, if you want to know the truth. And trust me, I just came off of COVID, so I can tell you, I'm not a big fan of COVID. It fucking hurts. But the fact that I'm working from home, the fact that other people are working from home, and you find companies that no longer need their big mega office complexes, maybe, just maybe, some of those cities will no longer have all the super skyscrapers and all that kind of stuff. And maybe we can recover part of the planet. It's not the homes that are the problem. It's the office buildings and the parking lots. You know, people are buying stuff from home on Amazon and all that, so we don't need all the big malls with all their parking lots. Maybe we can recover some Mother Nature. Maybe this is a good thing. Maybe Mother Nature's fighting back. Who knows? I don't know. That's a psychological discussion, maybe. A little bit of traffic here. We're down at 35 miles an hour. Just want to point out, in this whole drive, I've still never went over the peak boost of 8.5 a while ago. You've just barely been idling along. And it happens, you know. We're currently sitting in an average of 33 miles per gallon. We passed through Indian. I would honestly be doing 60, 55, 60, 65 miles an hour, whatever they'll let me do. Right now we can't get over 40. Long line of cars in front of me, probably 30 cars, maybe 30. It's a lot. This kind of thing happens in the summertime when you get behind like an RV. It's doing 35 in the 55. Bird Creek. And there's signs all over the place. You know, if you have more than 5 cars behind you, you're supposed to pull over. The problem is, who pulls over up here? You know, I mean, I'm sure the guy in the silver WRX in front of me is thinking the same thing I am. It's like, Jesus Christ, people, why do we keep having to hit our brakes? If you're trying to keep the brown, nasty water off the windshield as much as possible. I'd rather be in front. If I was in front, I wouldn't have any of this stuff on my windshield. Bird Creek Campground. Gentleman right up here on the left hand side who does wood carving, and when the weather's nice we'll come down on the bike. One of my motovlogs on the bike, we'll come down and check out the wood carvings on the bike. Just fantastic work. Yeah, some of his pieces are $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. They're honestly worth it. The wood carving that he does is so fantastic. Jernigan Gallery, Alaskan Art and Gifts. So we're doing 45 and a 65, and honestly, I could do the 65. The roads are good enough, I would easily do the 65. But I'm not in front, and the store traffic won't get out of my way, so you just have to put up with it. Not that big of a deal, just put up with it. cars am I going to be able to get past? Oh, we're up to 55 and a 65. We didn't get past all of them because of that one guy, but it's all right. It's all right. Why are you driving on the shoulder, dummy? Kicking all kinds of stuff up on the windshield. Light rain coming down, mixed with snow. It's a rain-snow mix. You can see off to the right, or you could, there's a mist out over the water. Little condensation there. And a little light snow. Nothing major. Turn the heater back up, keep the windows defogged. There we go. Some of these people might be going to Girdwood. Maybe going skiing at Girdwood. It's a little late in the day to go skiing. If you're going to go skiing, you probably should have headed out there a little while ago. I guess if you head there now, you can maybe get 1 or 2 runs down the mountain. Or more. I mean, they light up the slope. Ski after the sun goes down. Or ski after the sun goes down. I don't know why we slow down and then we speed up. That's what bothers me about people. It's like, pick a speed and do the speed. Slow way down, and then suddenly they can go faster. Like, what made you go faster all of a sudden? See, now they can suddenly do 65. Why couldn't they do 65 before? What was that's what I don't understand about people. It's like you can only do 40 back there, but now you can do 65. Because they don't want to be passed. See, that's the problem. Passing, well, nobody's going to pass me. They only want to pass you because you weren't doing the speed limit. all these people are suddenly able to do 60 miles an hour. I honestly hate people. I realize I'm not just an introvert. I'm an introvert who actually hates people because of the way they act. They all feel self-entitled, and I'm just like, just be you. I don't care. Oh, there's a big patch of snow. He kicked it all up for me. Good for him. Those spots in between the tire tracks where the snow gets all piled up, that's some of the worst of it. Like you cut tire tracks through a path of it, but then in between the two tire tracks is where all the snow's sitting piled up. But yeah, belugas come all the way down here. Well, they go all the way where we're going. But that valley up in front of us, you can see it opening up. There's going to be mountains on our left, and then there's a gap, and there'll be mountains. That's the Girdwood Valley, the town of Girdwood. Alaskan ski resort. COVID really hurt them. It's not just a ski resort in the wintertime, it's a really popular tourist destination in the summer as well. Little waterfalls on the left hand side there, snow melt on the left hand side. It's 36 degrees outside, so the snow's melting, which is also why we're getting some snow falling out of the sky. We see that valley there off my nose now. A Canadian company bought the resort, and then COVID hit. And like, man, hell of a first season for the new owners, you know. We had hardly any tourists, like literally hardly any tourists this year. There aren't a bunch of people here to go skiing. There weren't a bunch of people here in the summertime. There aren't a lot of people here to go skiing except for locals. So it's been really hard. Hard on a lot of businesses. Hard on the people too. When that's your livelihood, suddenly the tourists aren't there, and you worry, how do you pay your bills? How do you feed your kids? How do you, like, you plan on expanding your business, or you plan on buying a new car, or how, you know, working on the house or whatever, and then suddenly your income goes from, well, we anticipate like 150,000 people coming through the town this year, and you get like 10,000. And those 10,000 aren't spending as much as they normally would because there's not as much stuff to do. Most of the stuff is closed. And yeah, everybody's had to put their life on hold. I'm not just talking about here, all right? I know there's people all over the world that have had to put their lives on hold. But this is a state based on tourism. It always has been. The people who live here, we live here because we want to live here. But the people that come and visit, they provide a lot of the livelihood for the people that do live here. Whether it's somebody that runs a B&B, or whether it's somebody that runs a coffee shop or a restaurant, they rely on those tourists to come. And when the tourists aren't here, it hurts. You know, like this gas station, this little travel stop right here in Girdwood. During the summertime, normally that place would be busy all day long, every day, with all the tourists, RVs and everything else coming through to buy gas and food and all that. And when those people aren't here, all they have is the locals. And trust me, we did locals did a lot more in-state stuff this year that they normally wouldn't get to do because of the tourists. A lot of the pricing was lower. There was a whole movement here, get out and be a tourist in your own state. But yeah, it's just hard. It's hard all around. The charter boats didn't get as many fishermen. The hunting guides didn't get as many hunters. Gas stations didn't get as many people buying, coming in their RVs. Restaurants didn't get all the tourists coming to eat. I mean, hands down, it really, really hurt this state. Seriously hurt the state. But those of us that live here, I came here a little over 3 years ago, come up on my 4th year, and about 4 months away from being here for 4 months. 3.5 months. Yeah. All of February, all of January, all of December, and this last week. So 3 months and a week. I'll have been here for 4 years. And I love it here, but it's been a challenge this year, and I wouldn't change it for anything. I would not change it for anything. I would not move back to the lower 48. I wouldn't. It's way too beautiful here. The people here are fantastic. You know, the Alaskan can-do spirit. We're gonna get it done. That's the Alaskan clause. We'll get it done. You can see here, most of those people got off at Girdwood. Almost all that traffic went to Girdwood. The people behind me that I passed, there's only a couple cars now here in front of me. I said most of the people went to Girdwood. It's kind of what I thought. And I just got 2 cars in front of me and nobody behind me. Like, it's probably a mile and a half to the next car behind me. Yeah, back to the pristineness of nature. Not as much traffic through here, so the snow isn't as dirty and muddy. The guys from the train tracks ride, I wonder what they're doing. The Alaskan Railroad, one of their pickup trucks is back here. Must be watching to see if there's an avalanche. I don't see any avalanches over the train track. It's normally avalanche season. So the snow is falling. It's not like melting and sliding down the mountain, although it's a little warm right now, so there probably is some danger of melt. There's a small slide over there off to my left. There's always a slide in that ridge though. So the tire checks here are not quite as defined. There is some snow buildup on the road. There's not as much traffic coming through here, cutting the tracks down. So every now and then you get these patches like right here where there's like some snow ice build up on the road, makes the road kind of like choppy, like you gotta drive over it. But doing 57 miles an hour, the car's tracking down the road with no problem. But again, this is to give some perspective on the difference between like what it's like right now, and then once I really get out on the bike this summer, this coming spring and summer, show you guys the beauty. I mean, you can drive here now. But I just want to give, over the course of the next couple months, I want to give a perspective of what it's like to live here now, which is still fantastic. So I would not trade living here in Alaska for anything. I'm so glad I moved up here. But I'm gonna kick a little bit of snow in my face. So now some of my tire tracks are gone because of the snow. The snowplow just kicked them up. It's all right. It's all right. But yeah, that's that. So I'll show you guys. This drive. This drive along the Turnagain. It's still hands down, no matter what time of the year it is. This is a scenic drive. Like I said, it's beautiful. I mean, look at those snow-covered trees on the side of the road there to the left. That's beautiful. I mean, imagine coming through here without the road here, on a dog sled along the arm here, and seeing that, 50 years ago, 100 years ago. There's a reason why people want to live here. It's beautiful all the time. It is hard to find an ugly day in Alaska. And I know people will say, well, the sun's not out now. Well, no, because I'm up here inside the arm, and I'm coming up close to Portage Glacier and Byron Glacier, and the mountains are pinching me back in again, and we do have some snow coming, so there's cloud cover now, and I'm coming up on the gateway to the Kenai. The Kenai Peninsula is just to my right on the other side of the water, like about a mile away. Right on my right hand side is the Kenai Peninsula. All that separates me from the Kenai Peninsula right now is the Turnagain Arm, this body of water right here on my right hand side. And through here in the spring and the beginning of summer, when the salmon are running and the hooligan are running, whoa, a little bit of patch of snow there. There are so many eagles in the sky here. A lot of people, they're lucky in their lifetime if they see one or two bald eagles. We did this drive early last year before COVID hit, and the hooligan were running, and we counted 30 bald eagles. 30. Woo! 30 of them. 30 bald eagles fishing for hooligan, chasing the seagulls away, and you can't replace that. I mean, you can't go somewhere in the lower 48 and have a chance to see moose and bear and 30 eagles in the sky. It's like I said, most people are lucky to see an eagle, maybe at the zoo or something. In the spring and summer, these trees on the left-hand side are full of eagles' nests. And the little ponds on the side of the road have swans in them, and cranes, and ducks, and geese. And this is just along one of our major roadways. If you're going to Seward, this is the only road to get down here. You're going Seward, Soldotna, Sterling, Cooper Landing, Homer, Whittier, you have to go on this road. There's one road. Anchorage has two roads, one going out and one going on each side. The Seward Highway going south and the Glen Highway going northeast. That's it. When you're leaving town, you're on one of those two roads. So, I don't know if you can see it on the right hand side. I don't know if the camera picks it up enough. The big chunks of frozen ice that are out there on the right. There's a lot of them. Whittier policeman. Oh, there's a car in the ditch. Somebody lost control. So the real secret to not losing your control is don't make any sudden movements. Physics will take care of itself, right? I'm in a 3,700 pound car. It's going to try and travel straight. If I don't jerk the wheel in any direction, barring any other thing, it's going to keep going in this direction. Like the way I'm traveling right now. It's going to take a lot to change the direction. Which is why you need good tires so that you don't slip and slide in a turn. But just don't make any sudden movements. That's all you got to do. No sudden movement. 20-mile river goes up to the 20-mile glacier off to my left. Most of the hooligans end up right here at 20 miles. They're all summing up toward 20 miles. Later in the year, when I do some of the bike rides, we'll show some of the hooligan fishing. The banks of the arm on my right and that river will be just covered with people fishing for hooligan. With nets, just scoop them out of the water. Filling 5-gallon buckets. Right here, coming from my right hand side, is the Alaskan Wildlife Conservation Center. You can drive through and look at the animals or get out and walk. It's not a long walk. 2 miles, 2.5 miles to walk the whole thing. It's right here on the other side of Portage Creek. Portage Creek runs up to the Portage Glacier. Got a wildlife center. You got a little bit of everything there. Bison, moose, caribou, lynx, eagle, porcupines. Yeah, they got a little bit of everything. I'm going to turn and go toward the Portage Glacier. We'll see what we can see. There's a lot of condensation and fog. No, I won't do that today. Maybe on a better sunny day. I'm looking up the valley, the Portage Valley, and going toward Whittier, and it is so foggy up that valley. So foggy. Yeah. The road looks okay, but it's just so foggy. Like next to no visibility up there. So now it's almost all white right here. Both sides of the road, there's like almost complete white. The trees are heavily covered in snow and ice. The bushes are covered in snow and ice. This right here is the Placer River. So 2 summers ago, we had a young whale come up and die right on the side of the road. To my left, right there off the bridge. It'll be on the right when we come back. But he swam all the way up. He came up the river when the tide was in, and then the tide went out, and he got stranded, couldn't get back out, and ended up dying. Last year we had 2 other whales that came up the turning in. They managed to turn around and get out. But as you can see, another WRX going the other way. There's a lot of Subaru owners in Alaska. Yes, there's a lot of trucks. 4-wheel drive trucks, Jeep. We used to drive the Jeep. I got my 4-wheel drive truck. And of course there's obviously other manufacturers, but this is the land of the Subaru. So when I moved here, I love driving my Veloster here. Don't get me wrong, my Hyundai Veloster was fantastic. But I always wanted a Subaru, and this is the land of Subaru. This is what Subarus were made for. 4-wheel drive, snow and ice. You know, these cars were made for this. The WRX is based on a rally car, World Rallycross. That's where the WRX comes from. And one of the first WRXs that I ever saw was the 90s models that were made for WRC. And these cars were made for this. As long as you drive smart, WRX will get you anywhere you need to go. When I first got it, it had all-season tires on it. That last winter, I had to get snow tires. The all-season, my neighborhood, when we drove out of my neighborhood. It's a hilly neighborhood, and they didn't have gravel down on the road a couple of times, and the all-season tires just wouldn't grip. It wasn't the car's fault; it was the tire's fault. So the otters have a couple holes through the ice on my left-hand side. I haven't seen any otters yet, but the holes are over there. I don't see any out on the ice. If I don't see any on the ice, I'm not going to stop. When my sister and her friend Jennifer helped do the drive up here, they stayed for a couple of days before they flew back down to California. And this is where we drove. Number one, we were getting kind of low on gas. I didn't know how far we were going to drive. But we drove up here. I'm going to turn around up here shortly. Not sure why those police are out here. Did something happen out here? Those Anchorage policemen, they're way outside of the jurisdiction, literally. Like, Girdwood is as far as they can go. The Anchorage police do not patrol here. I have no idea what those two Anchorage cops are doing out here. But I'm going to come up here and I'm going to turn around. We're going to pass the sign right here. We've crossed it. We're on the other side of the Turnagain Arm. And this is the Kenai Peninsula. Like I said, the sign right here says, "Welcome to the Kenai." I'm not going to drive much further here. This video's been going for a while. I'm going to try to make it drive back. But yeah, this is, now you can see the hills on the right hand side, frozen ice. There's a waterfall behind that frozen ice on the right hand side. There's water running behind the ice. I'm going to come up here. There's a pullout up here that I'm going to turn around at. You can see that the road here is not quite as good. It's still drivable, 50 miles an hour. It's on snow. This isn't like slippery, slidey ice. It's packed snow. It's hard packed. It's been hit with a snowplow, so it's hard to describe. It's like I said, it's like driving on those rumble strips on the highway. Because as the snowplow went across it, the blade would like skip, and so you get all these like little skippy parts, which actually in the Veloster were the worst, because the Veloster set so low to the ground and had that McPherson sport suspension on it. It can't, like, this would rattle your back. Like, it would hurt to drive over this because of the constant vibration. The WRX has a little bit smoother suspension. I don't know if you can hear that, but see it on the camera. We're just rumbling down the road. Yeah, 45, 50 miles an hour. We're not sliding anywhere. This isn't impossible to drive on. Now, obviously, it'd be nice to be doing the 65 mile an hour speed limit instead of the 45, but it's not like this can't be driven on. This ride will be completely different in the summertime on the bike, even in the springtime on the bike. It'll be a completely different scene. But I mean, this is a winter wonderland. This is Alaska. It's always super pretty, super gorgeous, no matter where you go. One of the pullouts that I wanted to turn around at, they had a big snowbank there. I couldn't pull into it. I want to turn around. How much further I'm going to have to go before I can get to a turnaround here. A tree came down next to the road right there. Most of those trees, the fallen over trees, because the weight of the snow makes them bend over. Some of those trees have a good 8 to 12 inches of snow just on the branches where the weight of the snow is pushing down on the branch. I really want to turn around. There's no traffic coming. I've got a couple cars behind me. I don't want to like stop right in front of them, but I do want to turn around here. the guy wasn't so close behind me, one of my brakes could do a U-E. But it's like really on top of me here. I don't think I'm going to get a better chance. I think I'm going to have to do it here sometime soon. We'll give it like another mile. If I don't get a chance in the next mile, I'm going to just go ahead and make it happen. Yeah, I'm going to make it happen. Hit 15 pounds of boost there, that's sped back up. See, we're doing 60. So that traffic was doing 45, I'm doing 60. I don't want to get too crazy here. You know, the advantage of this car is the car will do whatever I ask it to do. Like, see, there was 2 lanes here. There was a right lane, there was a passing lane here. Nobody really sees it because of the snow coverage here. But a lot of people will be afraid to drive on this. If your tires are not bald, like I said, I've got physics. I'm not going to slide up into the snow. I'm not going to slide into the other traffic. Physics says I'm going to drive in a straight line. Now, as I come up on the curb here, I'm going to back out of the throttle and let the tires get a little bit of grip to go around the curb. But there's no reason to do 30 miles an hour on this. None. Unless you're super afraid. There's no mean because of the fact that physics says your car's going to travel in a straight line. No sudden movement. Now, when Jerry comes out, I mean, if there's moose, you might freak out because of the moose, but there's no reason to panic. You know, I'm still doing 48 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour. Went around that lazy curve. Car never had a problem. Never. This is why I don't understand why people are in such a panic. Let physics be your friend. Don't hold up everybody behind you because you're scared. And I understand people get afraid. They're not comfortable in their vehicle, and I get that. But if your car handles decently, there's no reason to panic. Look at it, no traffic, nobody in front of me, nobody out there, just a beautiful white winter wonderland, just a picture perfect postcard. So the bigger issue here is I don't have one of the other benefits here is the tire tracks here are not as defined, and so what I don't have are those spots where people have dug in a serious tire track, and then there's a big thing of snow where if you get into that deep pile of snow, it drags at your car and suddenly pulls you in a direction, which is what I'm going to be coming up on here. The road's going to start to get back where I got to watch out for those big piles of snow that can catch my tire. Back when it was just one big smooth roadway, no problems whatsoever, none. That guy just got himself stuck. He pulled off into some snow that's deeper than his bumper. The good news, buddy, there's a cop right around the curve here. I can't pull him out with this. All the policemen have left. They're on their way back to Anchorage. I figured that guy, the snowmobile guy, trying to decide whether or not he wanted to go snowmobiling there. Usually there's a lot of people that stop there, take their snowmobiles up in the hills. may decide to go somewhere else. I don't know. Got back in his truck. So right here on the right hand side, right here, this is a big like pond or lake that stretches for like the next 1.5 miles. And during the summer, this is all swans and ducks. Like literally like 15-20 swans live in this lake. They come back here every year. I don't know if you can see it. There's a couple like thawed out parts where the otters have broken holes through the ice so they can come up. You know, they'll go out on the ice and they'll dive down to fish and they'll come back out to breathe. I don't see any otters out playing right now, but if I saw some otters out playing, I'd stop. But in the summer, you can't see the otters because they're obviously not frozen, and the reeds and the grass coming up out of the water kind of hide them, so you can't see them swimming out there. You can damn sure see the swans though out there swimming around, all bright white. And then they had the babies, the ugly ducklings. You know, swans' babies are kind of a brown color instead of white until they get older and they molt and their feathers change. So you get these parents out there, mated pairs. They'll be out there swimming around together with like 3 or 4 baby swans swimming with them. Yeah, that lake or pond goes like right around in here is where it starts to turn back to marshland. And then it'll be marshy. This valley up to the right, the Placer River Valley. It's really marshy. This video is going to be about 2 hours, maybe by the time I get back, and I don't expect anybody to watch the entire thing. I mean, if you do, you do, or if you just like speed through it, you know, like watch it at 1.5 times or whatever. That's up to you. Or if you just like fast forward through certain parts, you know, where you think it gets boring. I understand. I just want to point out that this is a fantastic drive. No, at any time of the year. It's just 100% gorgeous, and I wish more people could enjoy it. I ask family and friends to come on up anytime. Come on up, visit. Come see the beauty that is Alaska. You know, I waited a large part of my life before I ever came up here, and I'm so glad I did. And I realize that not everybody wants to move up here, but I honestly believe that if you want to know why I said we overpopulated the planet and why it heartbreaks me that those woods in Bonnie Lake where the house was, all being apartment complexes and condominiums and living in housing developments and all that, and how that destroyed everything for me in Washington. This is what I grew up with. I grew up with forests. I grew up with rivers. I grew up with mountain streams, clear mountain water. It was clear mountain water. Forget the beer commercial. I'm telling you, clear mountain water. A stream running down the side of a mountain, untouched by man. I grew up with that. In most places, that's gone. But you know where it's not gone? It's not gone again. And Alaska's never going to let it become Californicated here. It's not going to happen. Most people don't want to live up here because it's so far away from everything else, blah, 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 whatever the reasons are. But I highly recommend, if all you ever do is watch a video, my vlog or somebody else's vlog or whatever, that's all you ever see of Alaska, at least you saw that. But it's something else to come up here and experience it. Come up here and say, you know what, I just want to experience it for myself. I just want to come up and see what it's like. Breathe some of this fantastic fresh air that's outside. You know, let me turn that off. Roll my window that way. That air is so crisp and clean and fresh. Every breath is a fresh air. Ah! Got a little bit of snow on my face, and that one guy's passing me. It's all right. I can live with it. But it's so wonderful here. Living in Alaska is a life worth living. And it's white, and maybe right now you're saying it's just a lot of white, and it's a lot of white, but it's not all white. Right now what you're seeing is 90% white. But part of the reason for me filming this video and some other videos over the next couple months is to show that yes, it's going to be white right now. It's white, but it's going to be green. And not a little bit of green. It's going to be green. And it's going to be eagles flying. And it's going to be moose walking on the side of the road. Not that we can't see the moose now. They're definitely out. The moose are working harder now to find food. So, any of the moose that would have been maybe back in the hillsides, they're not in the hillside right now. They are down. They're down here in the flats. They're in people's gardens. They're in people's yards. Looking for some of that vegetation that's still fresh and green. It's not frozen over. So yes, here in Alaska we get to live with the moose. This is their land. We live in it. Same thing with the bears. This is their land. We just happen to live in it. Still getting 32 miles to the gallon, even though I had to hit my gas pedal and pass some people a while ago instead of like cruising along. Nice easy drive. People that hit the piles of snow. Remember that snowplow came through here like maybe 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago? We were going the other direction. So now the road's a little bit cleaner because that plow came through. You can see there's no snow piled up in the middle, whereas on the other lane coming this way, coming back toward us, it's tire tracks with snow in the middle. Here it's smoothed down to the road, thanks to the plow. There's so many mountain peaks here. You could spend months trying to learn the names of all of them. There's a fantastically gorgeous peak right there to my right. Tip the camera maybe just a little bit right there. Off to the right. Gorgeous peak. But I don't know the name of it. I could probably figure it out. Look on the map. You know, near mile 84, right around mile 83 and a half. Yeah, kick up all that snow, why don't you? Right by Peterson Creek, the peak by Peterson Creek. It'd be interesting to know what the name of the peak is. But I mean, to me, I don't need to know all the names. I mean, these mountains on my right-hand side, the ones that are right here on the right, the ones on the left are on the Kenai. Across the water, about a mile away, across the water, that's the Kenai. These mountains on my right are the Chugach. I live on the side of the Chugach Mountain. This Chugach Mountain range right here, between the Turnagain Arm and Prince William Sound. Here with the Chugach Mountains and Chugach National Park. Or maybe the Chugach is a state park. I think it's state, not national. But yeah, like I said, I live between mountains. The Anchorage Bowl is in a bowl. That's why they call it the Anchorage Bowl. It's completely surrounded by mountains. I mean, yes, the inlet comes in and out, carves a path through the mountains, but for the most part, the city of Anchorage is surrounded by, on all sides, by mountains. Now, some of those mountains may be 20 miles away. Some of them, like the Chugach, are right there in town. And it helps make the Anchorage weather really, really mild, all things considered. I mean, yes, my house up at 1,000 feet has about 12 inches of snow. And down here, there's like maybe 6 inches of snow right here. When we were on the Kenai, like I said, some of those trees that had fallen over, they had like 8 to 12 inches of snow on the trees that had fallen over. Like the snow that was riding all the weight that knocked the trees over. But here, the trees have like maybe 2 inches of snow on them, 3 inches of snow on them. And the Kenai's just a mile across the water right there. But it's we have a lot of different weather zones here in Alaska, a lot. Just a nice, easy drive. Like I said, I don't anticipate somebody watching this video all the way through, although I hope you do. I hope, even if you go into the YouTube settings, go down below and turn the volume down and don't listen to me talk. And I hope you like hit the play button and just watch the drive. And I'm gonna put that in the description. If you don't want to hear me talk, don't hear me talk. Mute the volume and put the speed setting on your YouTube playback at like 2x, and just watch the drive. Just view the scenery. Ignore my talking. Ignore all that. And hopefully you get to see just some of what makes me love Alaska. Trust me, this isn't we haven't done a far drive. We haven't gone that far. And there are obviously times I could have gone faster if it wasn't for traffic. I mean, we're doing 55 and a 65 right now. But I got to deal with traffic, I got to deal with the roads. And so, it's not, to me, it's not as enjoyable as it could be. Because I don't know if you ever come back into that patch of snow, that little area where the snow is falling. Coming back to it again. The fact that snow is falling here isn't surprising. We're coming up on Girdwood again. Remember, Girdwood Valley has the Alaskan ski resort. Really popular ski resort worldwide. Really popular ski resort here in Alaska. And this valley gets a lot of snow. So it's not surprising that there's snow falling right here. Of course, we're supposed to get 3 to 6 inches in Anchorage again this weekend. But yeah, this is not surprising that it's snowing right here. You would expect it. Otherwise, there'd be no reason for the Alaskan ski resort to exist. Obviously, this valley right here, the Girdwood Valley, needs snow. Can't have a ski resort without snow. back up on that little travel stop on the right hand side. Like I said, in the summertime, when the tourists are here, that's the problem. This wasn't a good year for tourists. When the tourists are here, this travel stop up here, those pumps are always going. There's always people getting gas. There's always people stopping in to get something to eat. There's a coffee shop, a bakery, a pizzeria. There's always people stopping. We usually stop like for a drink. And by drink I mean like water or tea or Pepsi and maybe a snack. We do a lot of supporting local businesses here. Like if I can buy local, I'm gonna buy local. If I can support a local businessman and help keep him open, I try and do my part. So the reason I do one of our road trips, we just stop. So those people back there slamming on their brakes, they had their own lane. There's 2 lanes here. Again, I don't understand certain people and the way they drive. People come on the highways, they do that all the time. It's just one of those things that make you go, huh. Pull out a snow shower. Don't have anybody in front of me at the moment kicking up snow. Turn my wiper down a little bit. 36 miles back to Anchorage. We're not going all the way to downtown. We're turning off at Huffman to head up toward the house. I don't know what the total length of this video is going to be. Probably close to 2 hours. And like I said, please do not feel like you've had to watch me the entire time. If you're at this point and you've been listening to me the entire time, please go ahead and speed your video up. Alright? I'm going to keep talking, but you don't have to listen to me. Alright? Enjoy the video. Enjoy the drive. I don't want to speed up the playback. I want to let you control that. If you want to speed it up to 1.5, 1.75, 2x, or you just want to like skip forward to the video, like move your mouse and drag your video to a different spot where you think it's a little more scenic or what you want to see, go ahead and do that. Don't feel like you have to watch the entire video. Alright, I hope you make it all the way to the end, but don't feel like you have to watch it at normal play speed. Or if you want, just put me in your browser and let me ramble to you and let it play. That's fine. But at the end of the day, what I really want you to see is, I want you to see what a winter drive looks like in Alaska. At least this drive. And we'll do some other ones. I'll do some other ones. Some maybe this long, some shorter. Some I'll cut up and just show like sections of the road. The reason why I'm leaving this one full length is I don't want to cut the video. I don't want people to go, oh, it's that and then it's that. But no, I want you to see the perspective of the whole thing. Like I said, you don't have to watch it at normal speed. Please don't watch it at normal speed if you don't want to. But I'm living it at normal speed. And I'm enjoying it. I'm out here all by myself. Normally Louise is with me, but she's at the house going over the Christmas list, making sure what she still needs to get for other people, what she needs to ship. She has to get stuff shipped out in the next couple weeks so it gets to people. She's trying to find out where we're at with regard to getting our Christmas gifts shipped out. So she's working on that. Recovering from COVID, she's still going. Her recovery's taking a little bit longer than mine did. she's still dealing with like serious trouble breathing, and going up and down the stairs in the house is, she has to catch her breath when she goes down or when she comes back up. So she's like, you want to go for a drive? Go for a drive. I'll be okay. I'm gonna sit here and worry about the Christmas stuff. I'm like, okay, that's what you want to do. So I thought I'd come out. I want to get the first of the travel vlogs up on my YouTube. This is travel vlog number 1. I'll probably label it something like to the Kenai and back. But the waterfall's on the right hand side, frozen, like where there's been snow melt and it comes running down and it freezes solid. Those will all melt when the weather changes. But I just want to give you a taste of Alaska. See, I love this. Some people were like, I don't know, man, that's kind of whatever. You don't understand. It's peaceful. It's Mother Nature. It's a calm drive. This drive is so peaceful and calm, no matter what time of the year it is. Yes, there are frustrations with traffic every now and then, especially when you get like some slow RV in front of you. But this drive, people are like, you can have family and friends come up to visit you here in Anchorage, and all you do is take them on this drive, the one I just did, that I'm doing right now, up to Turning an Arm and back, and they will see more of Alaska than most people will ever see in their entire life. And in the summertime, like I said, when the mountain goats are out and the eagles are out, and you can stop at one of the creeks here, like Bird Creek or Indian Creek, you can see the salmon running in the river, or the hooligan are running, or the belugas are in. You can see so much here on just this drive. And this wasn't that long of a drive. Trust me, it actually would take less time if I wasn't able to slow down for people and for like some of the road, not a lot of the road, but some of the road conditions in a couple spots. I could have probably done this, at least shaved a half hour off of this. But we're doing it slow, we're doing it scenic, we're doing it just calm and relaxed, and it's a beautiful, gorgeous drive. You know, we're doing 52 and a 65. Not a lot I can do about it. Got 2 cars in front of me. No place to pass. Probably the biggest problem with this road is the limited places to pass. They've added some passing lanes and all that, but it is hard to pass people. When the RVs are here, it's even worse when the RVs are here. They go super slow. They stop and take pictures of every single rock. And don't get me wrong, it's a super scenic drive. Yes, you can take pictures of every single rock here and have a good view while you're here. But I'm not gonna have enough time to get past this guy. It's a little too slippery in that other lane. I can't. If he slows down a little bit more, I'm gonna do it. Why'd you slow down, dummy? I kind of want to pull out and pass him now. I got behind him and he slowed down. Alright. Why would you slow down when I got behind you? Literally, that made no sense. Anyway, skies are opening back up. Blue skies up there. Look at that mountain. Look at that. Look. Oh my God. Blue sky behind the peaks. That's what I'm talking about. See, this is Alaska. It's gorgeous. That's a postcard right there. That's a postcard waiting to happen. Alaska in a nutshell. Just one small part of this drive is a postcard waiting to happen. That's why I say Alaska, the last frontier. It's also, I call it paradise. When people say, where do you live? I'm like, I live in Anchorage. I live in Alaska, the last frontier, paradise, because that's where I live. I live in paradise. Fresh air, gorgeous scenery, fantastic wildlife. I live in paradise. It is hard to have a bad day in Alaska. Even a rainy day just means that, and Anchorage doesn't get that much rain. Even a rainy day just means that the plants are getting watered. Means that the stuff's going to be even more green when the sun comes out. Let the rain shower happen for a couple hours, and when it clears up, the clouds go away and the sun comes out. The flowers will bloom, the grass will grow, the trees will be a brighter green. I mean, you can see these pine trees, these spruces, the pines, the Douglas firs, all the different evergreens here. They stay green. Now there are some browns. We have a spruce beetle population here in Alaska. There are a lot of the spruces have been hit with spruce beetles. The spruce beetles have a tendency to kill off the spruce, and eventually the spruce will die and it'll turn brown, which is just the circle of life. That tree will die and go away, and eventually Mother Nature will replace it with a brand new green one. It's a circle of life. Look at it. There's another postcard right there. Right here. I'm going to turn around this curve. Look. Another postcard. Fantastic mountains. We're going to go to the base of that, and we're going to curve to the left, and we're driving right along the bottom of it. That's another postcard. Fantastic views everywhere you look. I'm so honored to live at the base of these mountains. Coming back up on Bird Ridge and Bird Creek. Down into the bottom will be a Bird Creek. But I love living here. It's so fantastic. But this is mountain driving. Don't worry, over the course of the videos, especially when the weather turns nice and I get out on the take the WRX for a longer road trip, or we'll take the Jeep, or I take the bike, or like I said, I'm looking for a couple other bikes. I want a dual purpose bike, I want an adventure bike. Want some bikes that I can get off the road and go play, show you guys some of the off-road stuff. Maybe I'll take the truck for a couple off-road trips. But you'll see that Alaska has everything. We got mountains, we got meadows. Alaska has a desert. Yes, Alaska has a desert. Look it up. There's a desert here in Alaska. It's not all snow and winter wonderland. This is a winter wonderland right now, because of the time of the year, because of the weather conditions. The Fairbanks area has a lot more snow. It gets a lot colder. We don't get that cold. It's 33 degrees outside. 33. And as you saw when I got in my car, I got my leather jacket on with a t-shirt underneath and a pair of jeans. I am not bundled up. The thermostat in my car right now, my temperature for my heater is set at 68. It's not cold. Now, Fairbanks, As you can see, the train tracks are right there. We're like 30 yards away from the arm. Trying to let the GoPro charge back up. The sun is gorgeous right behind those snow clouds. Next set of weather coming our way. But yeah, I stopped to let the GoPro charge up. The tide is coming in.
Variety 12 pack, just $18.95. Or Jameson Irish Whiskey, 750 ml, 20.
All right. See how long? I charge it up a little bit. Let's get going. It doesn't help that I'm recording in 4K. Still take pictures of the mountain goats here. Probably should have charged it while I came up here and charged it. Oh well. Could have filmed the mountain goats with my phone. It's alright. It's alright. Live and learn. Live and learn. See how close I can get back to the house before it dies on me again. I didn't charge it all the way up. I just charged it like 16%, 17%. See if I can get to the house before it goes off again. I gotta use the restroom. I need to use the restroom. My bladder's full. Sweet tea and Pepsi. I filled up my bladder. The skies are blue in some spots. Sun's shining on the snow. So the advantage of Alaska, it's always beautiful. Even at its ugliest, it's still beautiful. I did intersperse this, so there's a video on my phone that's going to be in the middle there. So I started out, and then when the battery died on the GoPro, I went like 2 miles down the road so I could find a pullout, and I pulled out so that I could stop and charge up the GoPro a little bit, and I got my phone out and recorded some video on my phone, so that'll be in the middle, in between after the GoPro died while I was charging. Just a couple minutes of showing the tide coming in. Did like a 360, spun around, showed like the water on one side and the mountains on the other, just to show how close everything is. There's like water, mountains, like everything's right there. It's all pinched together. I mean, I'm literally at the base of the mountain right here. You know, they carved this road off the side of the mountain. And turning an arm, the water is right there to my left. So a lot that can be said for a lot of different places in the world. Even Kansas can have its charm. Not for long. You drive 8 hours across Kansas, you've seen it all in the first 10 minutes. You're not going to see much different in the next 8 hours. Here, you drive for 8 hours here, and you're going to see a lot in 8 hours. I hope to give everybody a little taste of that. So, coming up on Beluga Point again, a bunch of people stopping here to see scenery. Obviously, this time of the year, you're not going to see the belugas. They're in warmer waters. They don't want to be banging their heads on pieces of ice. I'm back behind cars that are kicking stuff up on my windows. So when it died, when the GoPro died, I was in front. I had no traffic in front of me. Like, really nice. Unfortunately, yeah, well, I'm back behind a bunch of slow traffic. And I'm not sure I have enough charge to get it back to the house. We'll see. If it doesn't, I apologize. I would have done the drive all the way back to the house. Or I am going to do the drive all the way back to the house, but I would have recorded it all the way back to the house. I did lose like 2 miles, mile and a half, 2 miles. I was looking for a place to pull off. So we'll see. I didn't have it charged all the way up. It's just probably my fault. I meant to charge it. I could have had it charged to 100%, and I didn't. We'll fix that at some point. This is GoPro number 1. I need 2 or 3 more GoPros. This one's eventually going to be on my helmet. This will be the main. This will be my main one for either my helmet view of my helmet or the dash view here in the WRX. But I'll also get a couple other ones for my handlebars facing me, maybe one for the handlebars or maybe the side of the tank facing forward, you know, just some different views. So at least one more, but maybe 2 or 3 more. It'll also help when one dies, I can just switch over to the other one, switch out the camera, and keep going. So again, I apologize for the break in the video. Again, I hope that you have not felt like you had to watch me at normal speed this entire time. As I was trying to say before it died, please, please, please. Oh, by this point, you're almost too late, but it is my hope that if you didn't feel like listening to me talk, that you would have sped up the video to 1.5, 1.75, 2x in YouTube, and watched it at a higher rate. You don't have to listen to my voice. I've tried to talk so that it wouldn't just be dead air, and try and give my perspective on a little bit about what I see. But more than anything, I just wanted to make this first video a real simple one. Now later, some of my later videos, I may just do like certain scenic parts of a drive, like start the camera, stop the camera, like in parts that are not quite maybe. And trust me, there are no dull spots in Alaska. The worst thing I can think of, sorry, is for me to have the camera off, and that's when a moose comes along or a bear comes along, and I'm like, oh crap, I don't have the camera on. So there may be parts that I edit out occasionally. I'm not going to edit anything on this. I'm actually going to have to piece videos together in order to make this work. But I would hope not to cut anything out on you that I don't need to cut out, because I want to give you the true perspective. This is a wonderful state. Like I said, 12,000 to 16,000 miles of roads. You can look up the statistic. It's not a lot. Because I think LA or San Francisco or Dallas or one of those cities has more roads in the city than are in the entire state of Alaska. My throat's scratchy. I'm talking too much. We have about 5 miles to go here, maybe a little more than 5. You can just see as I come around the curve, you can start to see the sleeping lady there off the nose. Over there in the distance, my left front, the sleeping lady. Get past the way station here, we'll be back at Potter Marsh. Lots of people out hiking. Alaska's full of a lot of athletic people. They'll hike even in this weather. Sorry for that cough. I'm really trying to get this stuff out of my lungs. Like I said, if you go on Zillow and look up Potter Valley Road, the houses up on the hill, those are not cheap houses up there. This is Potter Marsh again on the right hand side. The train tracks on the left separate us from the water. But yeah, Potter Marsh is a wetlands area. When everything's thawed out in the spring, the summer, the fall, there's ducks and geese and cranes and all that kind of stuff out there. It's a huge wetlands area for birds. Right now, all those ponds are frozen over and snow covered. People are out there walking. Got those snow clouds out to the west, out down the Cook Inlet, toward the volcanoes I was talking about earlier. You go down the Cook Inlet, along the other side, across the water from the Kenai. There's a lot of volcanoes over there on that side, and no roads over there. You want to get over there, you basically take a boat or fly. The north side of the Cook Inlet there's no way to get there other than flying or a boat. Lots of ravens out flying around right now. This is the time of the year the ravens are out. When the weather turns nice, the ravens head up in the mountains. They're not as prevalent. During the wintertime, the ravens are down here looking for food, whatever they can find. They're sneak thieves. They'll dig in garbage. like a mess. I would call them a flying raccoon. They're really smart. They're really whatever. And like I said, they're looking for food. So if you got like a hamburger wrapper, they're gonna rip it open. They've learned. They're smart birds. They've learned what a McDonald's wrapper looks like, a Burger King wrapper looks like. You know, it's like, please don't litter in Alaska because the ravens are just gonna find it. You know. So overall, including me sitting on the side of the road for about 20 minutes with the engine running and dealing with traffic, still at 31.2 miles to the gallon. Still that maximum boost that I did that one time, 15.6. Haven't really boosted, haven't had to hit the gas pedal that much. Because this thing's boosting from get-go. So, but yeah, I haven't hit the gas pedal that much. Give this guy a little bit of advertising here. Allen and Peterson. I can't read their website good enough. It's a little dirty. aphone.com. aphome.com. aphome.com. Why buy anywhere else? More appliances in stock. Quality service and installation. Alaskan owned and operated. A lot of Alaskans prefer to buy here in Alaska. You don't have to pay shipping costs and support local businessmen. So we'll take Huffman Road back up.